Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are joined by the fabulous Donna Lopez.
Oh, stop.
I'm going to drop her socials down below and on the screen. Donna has a huge sordid past in the beauty industry. She's done pretty much everything and then some. So we're going to be picking her brain, getting a whole lot of tea, and really just dissecting quite a bit. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Anyway, if that's something you guys are into, make sure to keep on watching, and please don't forget to subscribe. I do upload 3 times a week, and that is the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's go.
So
what do you start with?
I feel like what we should maybe do is like tell them what we're doing, like that we're going to do like a little side-by-side.
Absolutely. So for today, I mean, that's exactly what we're doing.
Oh, that's what we're doing.
Side-by-side.
We're doing a little side-by-side.
We're totally doing a side-by-side. We're going to just be getting ready, and I'm going to try and fish as much gossip and behind the scenes out of her as I possibly can.
I will say that, like, the 2 best ways to get me to spill tea, is that even a thing? I feel like I'm way too old to say spill tea. Like, I don't think, am I too old to say spill tea? You can be honest. Like, I really feel like, okay, maybe, like, I'm just going to say gossip like a normal person.
Here they are.
To get any gossip out of me, there's 2 ways. One is to be doing makeup with me, and the other way is to feed me with a lot of tequila. So
Sold.
Unfortunately, I don't see any tequila around, so I guess we're going to be doing makeup.
Pretty much. So I'm going to start on eyes, because that's what's going to
I
take me the
actually do
longest.
that too, and you know what? I've noticed a lot of people on YouTube. P.S. I'm like not... Can we just talk about the fact that I've never really done like a full face like this on camera before?
Really?
This is... Like, I'm a
excited,
virgin.
and
I'm a virgin.
Totally honored.
I've done like little bits when I was with Boxy and for some of my brands, but I definitely have never done a full face on camera. So, and you know how people make weird faces when they put on makeup?
All the time.
But have you learned to, I feel like now I'm interviewing you. So like, have you learned how to like control your face? Because I feel like I'm totally that person that's like, you know, like in with my eyes.
I'm going to say I have, and then Brandon is going to be behind the
He's
camera
going to be like,
doing
now,
this.
like, watch your face.
Wait till I put on my lips.
Yeah, watch your face.
That's where it all goes in.
Okay, I really need to prep though. Like my skin is like feeling really dry because I came from super, super hot Miami. Well, first I went from Miami to LA for an event with Mac Daddy and Chris and Dominique for their launch.
Which looked like so much fun.
Oh my God, first of all, they are angels. I will tell you, like, they were amazing. And I love, first of all, the whole vibe was like a summer glam vibe, which was really fun. But the house was so insane. But the product looked so good. And like, just the fact that they came together, I thought was really special.
That was my biggest thing, is the fact that their egos were not so huge that they could share that moment.
They're friends, so they were amazing. I mean, they're just such great people in general. I mean, obviously I've gotten to know them over the last year, but they are just really, really sweet people. Like, what you see behind the camera is what you get. Very, very nice people. Okay, so I need to prep my skin because my skin is super dry. So, you know what? I've actually been loving this. So I got this when we went to see Ola Henriksen, but and I love this stuff. It's the vitamin C cream. I'm not normally a big vitamin C person because it's just like so overdone, and like really to get the right concentration of vitamin C for it actually to make a difference in your skin.
And vitamin C, she's going to tell me I'm right because I know this. Delivery system and expiration. Vitamin C does not last forever, and the way you put it in, you're not going to get potency out of it unless it's the right delivery system.
So I used to work at Sephora. That's how I kind of got started. And well, actually, that's a lie. When I first started, I was at... Wait a second, excuse me. You don't mist and not share. Like, that's just like...
Actually, have you tried this before?
I actually have not, and I've been wanting to.
It is magic. I've ranted about this a few times. It's the Prebiotic Multi-Mist from Murad.
Okay, wait.
Balances the skin magical.
Where are the ingredients?
Mama's got to tell us what's it.
Okay.
Hashtag mist share.
Mist share.
Sold.
That's
Sold.
epic.
It's
okay,
cold.
well, these don't have the ingredients on the bottle, so unfortunately we don't have the box, so I'm just going to trust you. Oh my God.
Skin balancing, prebiotic.
I do love me a prebiotic.
Preps, and refreshes.
At first I thought you said sex prep, and I was like, ooh, okay. We're going there today?
That's a little
I was like, are we going there today? I didn't realize.
I mean, it was a beautiful lunch, but you gotta take me to dinner first?
Not enough tequila? Not enough tequila. No, it's okay. You're taken. I can't steal you. Yeah, so I'm not really a big vitamin C person, but I do love this moisturizer.
Speaking of your Sephora background,
Yes. Oh yeah, I didn't even finish.
You
there.
started.
I started.
I'm gonna let you
I do that a
finish
lot.
that first.
I do that a lot.
We'll rein it in.
Yeah. So I actually started at Origins back in the day. That was really where I got my start in beauty. And so I've always been a skincare girl and really, really love like natural based products. It's really a big thing for me. But then I shifted over and went to Sephora because I wanted to learn lots of different brands because I was loving working at Origins, and it's honestly a company that I just fell in love with immediately. Like I literally walked in. Let me tell you how I got my job at Origins. I walked in, I was 18. So for those of you who don't know, I was actually a teen mom, and I was going to school for hospitality. Literally was in school, hospitality, working like multiple jobs as like a teen mom and trying to raise my son. I was fresh out of high school. And I walked into an Origin store with my grandmother to help her pick some makeup, and she really just wanted to do something like very soft and natural. So I was like, oh, Origin's like the perfect for like natural based like makeup. So I walked in with my son and my mom and my grandmother, and I started doing her makeup in store, and they offered me a job on the spot.
That's awesome.
That's literally what happened. And so I started there part-time, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to do this. Like, I'm going to be a hotel manager. That's what I'm going to do one day. And I was going to run hotels, and look, here I am now.
That's awesome.
Beauty executive.
That is
not
nice.
not anything remotely close to a hotel manager. So
I mean,
it's funny how things work out.
Brandon and I actually met. We are CIA graduates. So
Oh my God!
Chef background. I used to run kitchens. My
That's
specialty was
amazing.
healthcare, so I would focus on retirement communities, hospitals, and nursing homes. So I was doing a lot of
Oh, I
clinical
didn't know that.
diet
That's
stuff.
so cool.
Contract food service, clinical diet stuff.
Yeah. And you know I love me some glow.
beautiful.
We've talked about this a lot. I'm a big, big glow person. Like everything has to be glowy.
I need 9 highlighters on the cheek, but the face has to be super
I'm literally
matte.
putting glitter all over my face right now. Like
That is
that's
amazing.
That's actually what's happening. So I'm obsessed with this product too, by the way. The Elsie, have you tried this yet?
I have not.
Okay, so first of all, put this just like a little, just like boop, just like you'll die. Like hello there.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Hello there. Now let it like absorb in, and then it actually turns dry, so it's not heavy at all.
That is nice.
Isn't that beautiful?
You can't distract me with pretty things.
I
'cause
know,
the
but
only
like
way
how pretty that is.
We're gonna finish at the same time as if I stay focused and
Yeah,
you chat.
I'll chat. Okay. Okay,
Very
so
much.
remember this gem that was in our February Boxycharm when I
Yes,
worked
I
for
do.
Boxycharm?
Yes, I do.
You can see how much I love this product. Like, it's literally almost gone. I'm obsessed. Touch and Soul is one of my favorite brands, by the way.
I just tried the Essence Primer in my unboxing,
Yeah.
and
What do you think about that one?
I don't love it as much.
Not as much.
Not as much. I felt like I paired it with my normal mattifying products, and I
Wait.
still got shiny.
Oh, because you're oily.
Very.
Yeah. That's not the best product for super oily skin, but it's a great product.
But I'm a completionist, so I need to try everything.
You have to.
If it comes in a box, I need to put it on my face.
You have to. And Boxycharm's amazing. You have to.
It is. And it's not too often you hear a former employee of a place talking highly about
I can
the
just
brand.
let me just tell you, there is no company in the entire history of in my entire career. You can go on my LinkedIn. You can go. I will literally tell you every job I've ever had. I will tell you that there is not a company that I love more than Boxycharm. That's a true statement.
I love that.
Like I have never.
As I use more things from my
Oh, my little
box.
Pure palette. I loved it.
am a huge fan of Boxy as a whole, and everybody here knows that. But I think what I have liked the most about my experience working with Boxycharm, both as somebody who works with the brand as well as just a paying customer, I feel like it's one of the few brands that actually listens to what their social everything
Oh my
is
God,
saying.
listens
I feel
to
like
everything. Amazing.
Whenever any feedback has been given in a video or comments on an Instagram profile, anything, there's reaction, there's response, and there's clear movement in the right direction. We were actually just talking about this over lunch, that it's so hard to cater to hundreds of thousands, millions
It
of
is.
people and getting the same kind of good quality results
Yeah.
and keeping that many people happy is nearly impossible.
Yeah.
And that's not a
Yeah.
job I take lightly.
And that's
like,
not even a Boxycharm thing. I think it's so interesting because, I've come from being in store. I worked in store at Origins. I worked in store at Sephora. And, that experience I never took lightly because, and even when I first started at Home Shopping Network at HSN, I actually took time to work on the phones. Like they, you know, take phone calls, you know, every single day for, you know, all their orders. They also have online, of course, but, you know, they have all of these. And I remember taking that time to learn and understand their customer, because it was so different to the customer that I had been experienced to, obviously, at Sephora. But really amazing, because taking that time, you know, being on that side of the business and being consumer facing, and then moving into buying and becoming a buyer, and, you know, then moving on and being, you know, the vice president of merchandising at Boxycharm. You know, when you're in merchandising, your entire job is to predict trend. You know, that's like 90% of the job, is to predict trend and to satisfy and to, you know, ultimately inspire people to buy. And, you know, you can't please everybody, unfortunately, as much as you want to, because even when you give people the choice of wanting to buy, and I'm not talking about Boxycharm, I mean, even in store, I put a product on the shelf and you give them the choice to buy, it, you know, is hard.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to get, you know,
We're also
the right
particular.
product.
It is literally my favorite part about the industry, is the fact that we have different skin types.
Yep.
We have different preferences.
Yep.
We have different aesthetics.
Yep.
But there are products that both of us use and love, and there are things that, you know, we
Can't, and I just don't like.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I love that it's so personal.
Like vitamin C. Like I don't like vitamin C products, but they sell like crazy, you know? And it's like there's nothing that anybody can tell me about that. It's just I don't like vitamin C products. They don't really do anything for me. I'm just not really sure what look I want to do. So
That's why I had to plan in advance exactly.
see, that was
what I
smart.
doing.
I didn't. Why didn't I do that?
And I grabbed these two palettes because I knew I wanted to play around.
Maybe
with
I should.
those.
Yeah.
I
those
wanted
are
like
rich.
a silvery.
I might be
purpley.
stealing a couple of colors.
Absolutely.
But I think I want it. Don't you think this would be really pretty? This Touch and Soul, which I've destroyed because I love it so much.
Hold on, you're on pause.
I'm on pause. Stop. Oh my God. Dead.
Definitely a different color, but
Definitely different color.
I'm obsessed.
This is honestly like, I mean, this thing, I don't know how to do this on camera, but like, butter.
It's magic. That's my
Like-
one complaint, is like you can see it shaking in the pan.
Yes.
It's
But,
definitely loose.
but you know why it's the formula? So
so
they're,
soft. This is my
well,
glitter
this is the
segment.
LC one.
That's my topper and glitter section. Like I
Yeah?
have to come
Oh, you got
prepared.
Stila in there? I love
I do.
Stila. Aw.
I knew I wanted silver purpley
So
smoky eyes. So
I think
brought
you're just
silver.
all about the silver purpley. I feel like I've seen you do a few of those looks.
Purple smoky
Purple
eyes.
smoky eyes. Do you get called out for that?
I get, so I don't get called out for
He
doing
gets
it.
called out.
It's my most requested thing.
Oh.
So like it is my like because my eyes they're hazel, but in the wrong light they go brown, and in other lights they go green.
Oh.
So I like to use a lot of purples to help ground the green.
Yeah.
Because of that, whenever I do like event glam, going out, you know, we go to a wedding, we got something going on.
Yeah.
I like to focus purples on the eyes
Yeah.
because it makes my eyes pop, especially in photos.
Yeah.
But people ran with that, and every time, like I've done a live, anytime I've done
Everyone's
any kind
like,
of, there was
"Purple,
like,
purple."
can you do a purple smoky eye?
And you're like, oh my God, enough with the purple.
But I love it, and
Yeah.
it works for
Okay,
my
well, if you
complexion.
love purple, look at this Elsie product. Like, how pretty is
Oh
that?
my God,
Swatch
that is
it.
stunning.
Like, can you not?
I'm not even swatching that, I'm putting that on my eye.
Yeah, gorge, right?
That is
So-
everything.
Is that not so pretty?
That is magical.
I do love Elsie. As you can tell, I have multiple of the products, but I love that brand.
Oh, that is really pretty.
So, you know, they really started mostly as a complexion brand, and they've done really, really well. And, but I will say her color is really, really good. Her products are very, very good quality as well.
And they stretch a long way.
They do. I mean, look how much you get out of that.
Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. Like
Wait, let me turn to me. Oh my God, that is so gorgeous on you. I also wear a lot of purples because I have green eyes as well. And I have not even started on my look, by the way. Like, I've just basically prepped my skin. This is just...
The first thing I said before we even started
is
filming
just-
was, I'm just going to power through while we chat.
Right.
Because I know if I don't, you'll be done and sitting and staring
I'm
at
literally
me.
just like, I don't even know where to start. Okay, I need to get my brushes out. That is where I need to start. 'Cause
Well,
then-
they also know I am not the best multitasker.
Oh.
So the second I start really like...
Getting
You'll
in
notice
there?
I stop doing,
Yeah.
I get you on a tangent, and I quickly
Yes.
start blending.
I
Because it's the
noticed that.
only way it's going to work.
I just thought that that's just me. So you're making me feel better because I was like, I have a habit of just going on tangents for no reason.
You briefly touched on Origins, Sephora, Home Shopping Network, and Boxycharm.
Yep.
Let's give me a resume recap. Like if you had to pitch yourself, I mean, you never have to. You speak for yourself. But if you have to give yourself like that. This is what I've done at each place, like bullet point.
Okay.
What is your industry background? So when you start dishing on some of the questions we got, they know we got somebody credible.
Okay, so we'll start off when I was at Origins. My entire job there was essentially to rebuild business. So when I started at Origins, that was like in the midst of the recession, and nobody was shopping. I mean, this was a really, really traumatic time for retail in general. And so, my whole job was to go in and, sales. That's actually where I discovered that I knew how to sell. That was the first job that I ever had that really taught me really what I was good at. That's the one amazing, or there's a lot of amazing things about Estee Lauder because I love the Estee Lauder companies, but Origins and Estee Lauder have this amazing coaching program internally. Like they're super, super focused on their people. And that's one of the most glorious things that I love about Estee Lauder. And they spend so much time coaching and developing and training people. It's kind of unbelievable to the point that even when they do inbound interviews, like everything is done through an internal process where you actually learn what your strengths are and what your opportunities are.
That's awesome.
So you actually learn that when you first start. Now, for somebody like me who was, not really great in school, I was not an academic by any means. I didn't really know what I was good at. I just knew I loved beauty, and I knew I apparently loved the hospitality industry because I love to travel. But I didn't really know, and I knew that I was going to work in business. That's something that I knew about myself because I started working when I was 14. And that was something that I knew about myself from a very young age, that I was going to work in business. I was going to be in business. I knew I was going to have my own company one day. Those were all things that I knew were going to happen, but definitely never saw myself having a career in beauty. So when I was there, that's when I learned how to sell. And I remember distinctly, I love those brushes, by the way, those festival brushes.
This brush has turned into like,
a go-to.
If I need to cut the crease, if I need to pack a lid, anything
It almost didn't make the cut, and it's honestly one of my favorite brushes.
I'm obsessed. Because it just deposits so perfectly.
Can we talk about the design, though, for a second? Because the sunset, like the whole vibe that month was just my favorite box.
I am a huge fan.
That box, that and May were my two favorite boxes of the year. I did also really love February.
Because I have very deep set eyes, not very deep set, but I have deep set eyes and I have hooded eyes.
Yeah.
I need something that's going to have that very precise curved edge.
I mean,
so that
let's
I can
be honest.
really like faux cut the crease.
Yeah. Luxie brushes, let's be honest, are like the best, and they're the best. I mean, I don't really like to be one that's like, this is the best in the industry, because everything is different, but Luxie brushes, I think, really earn their title.
I love that
This
they are
brush,
so frequently featured in Boxycharm, because I feel like at this point, I have like 40. That one?
No. Let's talk about this brush for one hot second. This brush was featured Boxy Luxe in September. Is this closer? Can you see it? Okay, this is their Airbrush foundation brush. I remember being at breakfast with the CEO and their director of sales. And
just casually at breakfast with
we were
the CEO
at breakfast.
And director of sales.
I mean, they're amazing.
No big deal.
I mean, that is sort of the life, but we were at breakfast and they showed us this line when it was launching, and I mean, it was stunning, like beautiful, needed no edits. And the only thing I said was, wait, I don't see an Airbrush foundation brush. Can you make one for our box? And they were like, oh my God, yeah, we definitely need to do that. And then they created this gem. I don't even think that they realized how amazing this product was. I got a sample of it before it went live, and I put it on, and I immediately picked up the phone. I called the CEO and I was like, do you realize that you have a product that's better than a beauty blender? Like, do you realize that you have a product that's better than a beauty blender? And he was like, what? And I told him, like, I can tell you where I was. I was in LA, in a hotel room. I had just gotten my sample. I pull it out of my bag and I start buffing it. And I was like, oh my God, can you believe?
That is awesome.
And I literally went like this, and I took my beauty blender. God bless you, beauty blender. I love you. But I literally was like, bye, never again. Like, you can see how very little I use this product now. Like, it's like barely has any product on it. Anyway, I'm obsessed with this brush, so
I have lately been back into brushes. I will apply with a brush and then finesse with a sponge.
Correct. That's what I do now. I just literally finesse. So clearly I'm horrible being interviewed.
Which is great, because it makes you the most entertaining guest ever.
I'm horrible being interviewed, guys. So sorry. Okay, so basically my entire job at Origins was to sell. That was like, if I had to sell and to train people how to sell better than me. That was the goal. And ultimately, you know, my goal whenever I'm training people, it's to make them better than me. And so that was what my job was to do there. So I helped them expand some stores. They had some stores that were really, you know, needed some additional sales. I mean, everybody did. This is not like an Origin specific thing. This is just the industry in general was really, really in a tough spot. So in a nutshell, my job was to sell. And then I had a store that was mine that I managed, and then I also helped with the region with training. So I helped with the region there. And I basically they kind of created a position for me called an SOS manager. So like when, you know, you needed help, if there was a store manager that wasn't there, or, you know, like if somebody like, you know, went on maternity leave, or you had like, you know, something that was going on in the store, you had new team members, I would go into these stores and basically boot camp and help them. So that was my job there. But I remember thinking, being in store, and I think a lot of people who have worked in store probably have had these sort of epiphanies where you're like, who's making these decisions? Who's putting this product in here? Who did this? Like,
how did this get passed? Whoever's making what decision?
Like, how did this happen? You know, like you see things hit the shelves and you're like, who approved this? And that was the epiphany that I sort of had. And I was like, well, but really, who is that person? Like, who is the one that's deciding that? And so I started doing some research and couldn't find anything. Like, I really could not figure out who the person was. And now granted, you know, if you kind of go back as to where I'm at the time, now at this point, I started off at Origins part-time, like literally part-time, making under $10 an hour part-time. And then within 5 years, got promoted 7 times up to where I basically worked my way up in the rankings there. But literally, I was the youngest store manager there, like in the country at the time. I was 19, running a very large volume store. And I had to convince my district manager to like give me the job. They were interviewing other people for the store. And I literally told the district manager, I was like, you can keep interviewing people, but you're going to end up giving this job to me. And she was like, excuse me? And I said, I mean, you can keep interviewing, but they're not going to work out just like nobody else has.
And not you.
And well, because she couldn't tell me this, but I was too young, you know. She's like, you were, you know,
legally, that's a whole big mess.
She can't tell me that, and that's why she didn't say it. But you know, it's like, hey, you're like way too young to do this. Like, you have no experience. You just started really like, you know, you just learned that you can sell, you know. And to be fair, she wasn't totally wrong. Like, I wasn't a great manager when I first started because
you have to learn and grow.
I was 18, and you know, when you're in sales mode, you know, you're constantly like, I've got to beat my goal. I've got to do this. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to be number 1 in the country. Like, that was like my whole vibe. And that's just not what you can do when you're managing a team, and you have to learn to put yourself, you know, on the back burner. It's not about you. It's about your team winning. And so then I had to shift my whole focus and learn how to be a great manager. And then once I think people figured out that my intentions were to help them, you know, and once I learned how to be a better communicator and to understand to manage people to their strengths versus my own, that like changed the game for everything. Like, I remember my best friend today, she worked for me. So all of my best friends today are people that worked for me at Origins, which is like the funniest thing ever. But my best friend, I remember she worked with me for like 2 months, and she's like, can I just ask you something? And I was like, yeah. She's like, how old are you? And I was like, 18.
Old enough.
I was like, 18. And she's like, 18? Are you crazy? She's like, there's no way. She's like, there's no way that you're 18. And I had to show her my ID too. So anyway, so I was doing all this, you know, all of this research, trying to figure out what this like mystical job was that picked product to go in stores, and literally spent like weeks Googling, you know, job descriptions, and finally came across buyer. And I was like, buyer? Like, all right, well, what does a buyer do? I really didn't know what a buyer did. Like, did not know what a buyer did. And had to Google it. And then I decided I was going to be a buyer. So with no buying experience, which people go to school for that.
Yep.
For a long time, go to school to be a buyer. And
you just decided one day this is what
I just woke up and I was like, I'm going to be a buyer. And so I downloaded, this is actually really funny. I don't know if I should admit this on camera, but I downloaded an ebook off of the internet called The Art of Retail Buying. And I got an interview with, because of course at the time I'm also living in Tampa, Florida, not living in like New York, LA, or anywhere fabulous. I mean, God love you, Tampa. I love you. do not want to offend you. But you're not New York, LA, or San Francisco. There's also not really a lot of corporate beauty there. But I was a single mom, and I think at that point, I'd worked my way up at Origin. So by this point, I'm like 22-ish. And so my son is still very young. And, I just didn't have the means to be able to, move to a big city on my own. Anyway, I did that, and I found that Home Shopping Network had a buying office in St. Pete. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just be a buyer for Home Shopping Network. I looked online and I looked at their assortment. I was like, okay, we could, make some moves here. So that's what I decided I was going to do, not understanding that people train for a long time to do it, that there's a lot of work that needs to be done. It's not just I show up today and I'm a buyer. So I actually applied for a vice president position because I was just like, great,
I've done it.
Check. The recruiter emailed me back and she was like, yeah, not quite yet though, but appreciate you. And she's like, maybe what we could do is get you in the program. Cause I was very I sold it. I was like, I know it all about beauty. I got it. I got you. I'm going to get you all the brands. I mean, just hilarious. And,
you ended up delivering. So I guess it worked.
And I remember being in a position where, now at this point I've worked my way from, keep in mind, part-time with no degree, no education, and I worked my way up from being, in that position as a single teen mom, and worked my way up, to a pretty big position in field, and something that I didn't take lightly because I loved the company that I worked for, and they dedicated so much for me, so much work, and the people were just so incredible to me always, that it was really hard to even consider leaving. But, I knew I wanted to do this. So, when they told me at HSN that I would have to start back at the bottom, it was like, oh my gosh. So I'm going to go back from making, now at this point I'm on salary, I've got bonus, I'm making really good money for, someone, who literally just didn't have any experience at all, and making good money for somebody who even does have experience. And kind of was killing it, for my age. And so to go from that to go back down to, again, another, $10, $15 an hour position, which again, great money. But again, when I'm coming back from, where I was at is an account executive in the, in the field, to then go back down was I don't know if I can do this. And, I was going to have to make a lot of life changes, to be able to make that happen. And so but I was dating somebody at the time that actually said it to me, that it's something that I've taken with me my whole life, and I didn't get anything from that relationship except for this one piece of advice.
So it was worth
it, totally. But the one thing that he said to me, he was like, Donna, you worked your way from, here to here in in 6 years. He's like, do you really think you're just not going to be able to do that again? Truly. And he's like, just think about that for a second. And
the bastard was right.
And he was so right. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And I worked, because there wasn't a position in beauty, I took phone calls, literally sat on the phones and was like, hi, thank you for calling Home Shopping Network. Literally I was that person, taking the calls and selling people, on the phone for 6 months. And then a position in beauty came open, is the entry level, which was the merchandise assistant position. So I was like, okay, so here we go. So at that point, then I also started working at Sephora. And so I was working 2 jobs. I was working at Sephora, and then also at HSN is kind of the entry-level position. And it was amazing because I got all that category knowledge, and Sephora has incredible education. And I really have been incredibly blessed with the companies that I've worked with. They just, have all been so supportive of me throughout my career in different ways. I really just wouldn't be here today without them, to be honest. But I remember before my interview, this is the funny part about the book that I downloaded. So because I didn't know what a buyer did, no clue whatsoever, I had to figure out what a buyer did. So before my interview, I downloaded this book called The Art of Retail Buying. After I downloaded the book, I read the first chapter. I read a middle chapter, and then the last chapter because I got bored. So I didn't want to I was just like, oh, margin, cost, got it, boom.
I'm ready.
Assortment, trend analysis, got it. And just literally didn't even read the book. I was so bored. It was 3 chapters of the book. And I was like, I'm ready. And I went in for the interview and I totally faked my way through it. And got a job. Patrick, who was my first buyer, took a really big chance on me, who I love so much to this day. Cannot thank him enough because he literally taught me everything about buying when I knew absolutely nothing. And I remember people were like, you're going to hire somebody from customer service? Are you serious? And he was like, no, she's got it. And he tells me that even to this day, I still talk to him occasionally. I haven't actually talked to him in a while. I need to call him. But he, it's funny because he hired me and then within 5 years I worked my way up and then I was at the same level as him, which was, kind of amazing. And he was so proud, it's
at that point you gotta be.
He was so proud of me. So then I started in buying, and then I actually started on the Bath & Body team, Bath & Body tanning and fragrance. And I started there, celebrity fragrance actually. TV retail, by the way, is the wildest experience you'll ever have.
I'm sure you met a whole lot of weird but obscure people.
You do, but then you also meet incredible people like Susie Orman. She was on air. She's a badass. Not in beauty, but she went on air. I met Susie Orman, who is amazing. I've met Eva Longoria, Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj was on HSN. How cool is that? She launched her, cool. Yeah, she launched her fragrance on there. We met Michael Bublé. We've met so many people from being in TV retail. It's insane. But also that's where I really got to meet a lot of the founders of the brands because you work with these CEOs and the sales teams and the marketing teams in the day-to-day interaction, but it's not very often that you get to really interact with a founder. But in TV retail, you get to interact with the founder.
You saw the smirk, right?
Yes.
So without direct shading.
Uh-oh. Oh, God.
What was something a horror story brand?
Oh, my God.
I don't need to know the brand.
Okay, I'm not going to tell the brand.
But what was
Oh my God. I have so many crazy stories. So I swear to you, there was no industry like TV retail. I love TV retail, but it brings out the best in people and the best of the brands because you get to share your story and really be amazing. But then, you're not sleeping because you're on air 24 hours. Imagine getting up in the morning and having to do this every hour for 30 minutes to an hour, every other hour. I would say there's a couple of really traumatic stories that I have, but I'll stick to this one, which was a TV retail story. So you have these deals called Today's Specials, which is the most important item of the day. It's the one item that runs from morning until night on QVC. They're called Today's Special Values or TSVs. Anyway, one of the biggest challenges that you have a lot of times in the brand world is shipping. A lot of shipping issues just in general because, goods are coming from overseas, you have customs, you have, quality checks. There's a million things that can delay a product getting to your warehouse. Now with TV retail, you don't have the luxury that you do in store because in store I can fill a shelf, right? If something is not there's an animation that's not there, I can put another animation up and if I needed to.
Right.
But on TV, it's if there's no goods, it's just there's no goods. There's nothing for you to sell. So you're really in a tight spot. Also, your product changes by the minute. So, in store, you're measured on your productivity by hour. In TV retail, you're measured by minute. So everything that you do is you have to I don't know how to snap. Why can't I snap fast?
That's when you carefully insert.
Oh,
you have one too.
I know. Okay.
I brought a fan because we both need fans.
Okay, I'm not as graceful at it as you are. I'm just not a graceful.
Years of practice.
I'm just also not a graceful individual by nature. Anybody will tell you I'm the clumsiest person. So I'll tell a story about a brand that I had for a Today's Special that wasn't being super upfront with me about where their shipping status was at. So it's about a week out from our show and there's no goods. No goods, no product. So I'm going live.
So what are you selling?
Nothing, 0 things available. So I'm calling the brand. They're kind of dodging my calls. It was honestly pure chaos. Because also another amazing thing about HSN and QVC is they have incredible quality control. So any item that goes through online like has to go through weeks and weeks and weeks of quality control. Like it goes through tests. Like every claim that's on the package gets monitored, gets questioned. Where's the paperwork? Where's this? Where's that? It's kind of amazing actually. And so if you're ever questioning about the quality of products that go on QVC or HSN, it's honestly the best. Truly, 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 like it goes through 100 levels of QA testing. So like by all means, buy from there like crazy. And if there's something you've never heard of, it doesn't matter, buy it because it's the best.
The homework was done.
The homework was done. All the receipts are there. Was that a cool thing to say?
Was a cool thing
I tried. Okay.
See, I can't even pull it off.
I don't know that I pulled it off though. I don't think I pulled it off. But
let me know in the comment section down below.
I did.
Did she pull it off?
It's okay.
They're gonna say yes.
I have a really good. I have pretty thick skin. I feel like I can handle it. So let's do like a check-in with the makeup. Yeah. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Like I kind of want to tell you to smoke it out more, but I just know that I love it as it is. So I think keep it soft.
Don't smoke it out?
Don't smoke it out. I think leave it soft.
Okay.
I think leave it soft.
Just blend a little bit more. But.
Yeah, I need some blending action. Okay, so anyway, so we're now 4 days out from the show, and the goods are not there. There are just no goods. So now we're in panic mode because we don't have a product. And it takes, in HSN world, it takes like almost a month or 3 months to get product through QA, testing.
So were they trying to skirt the QA?
No, they didn't have the goods and they weren't telling us. Like they hadn't received it and so they were delayed on shipping and they weren't being super transparent about what their situation. So then we were stuck because now we're like, okay, well we have to make moves and now we have to find a whole new product. Luckily I have really great brand relationships and I will never forget the day that I called up a brand that
you can tell us who bailed you out. I mean, that's a good shout out.
It is a good shout out. Benefit Cosmetics is the loves of my life. They bailed me out so hardcore. And they came to the table with this amazing offer. And I just like literally got on the phone and like begged them. I was like, please, I need goods and I need to put something together amazing that just like will wow these customers like crazy. And they like pulled out a miracle for me and shipped and got everything through QA, which is normally, like I said, like months of a process between my teams at HSN and my benefit teams. Like we literally got that thing through in like 3 days and made it go live.
That's awesome.
It was a big win at the end, but it was the most terrifying thing that I've ever experienced because if you don't have product to sell, like it's literally like walking into a Sephora and having like an entire window gone, you know, and just nothing being there. And that's tragic for being in sale. Yeah. So that's one. I've also been yelled at by a lot of brands. Like, you know, people in the middle of the night, they're calling, they're angry about something that happened that has nothing to do with, you know, me necessarily, but just circumstances.
But if you're the point of contact.
I'm the point of contact. So I've had like the most amazing CEOs who I love and adore. And I'm actually like going to dinner with one of them later this week who like literally screamed at me for 45 minutes one time, almost made me cry. And, like
that's a good basis for a relationship.
And honestly, I will tell you, like, because you see the worst in these people, and even in yourself, because in those moments yourself, you're not your best either, because you're exhausted, you're being yelled at, you know that there's something wrong, and, but, you know, I'm actually seeing one of the brands later this week, so it ended up all working out, and I think it's so funny because the brand said to me the other day, he's the president, he's like, Donna, if you can put up with me, you can put up with anybody. And those were his words to me. It was pretty funny. And I was like, yeah.
Google's brands that are in New York.
And then, you know, I think even just, it's really mostly shipping. Like, I know it seems like such a boring thing. Like, you would want like a much more dramatic story, but honestly, like shipping situations for a buyer is like, because.
You want to play a game?
Yes.
We're going to tie this in, because now we're going to segue to Boxycharm. Their entire business is shipping.
It is.
So.
Their entire business is shipping. Yeah, they do an amazing job. I mean, the fact that they ship out the millions of boxes that they do is insane.
I do not envy that shipping process.
Think about that. In that space of time, it's amazing what they do. They're incredible. I mean, the fact that they do that is amazing.
All right. So in the vice president of merchandising for Boxycharm,
Yes.
what were you doing? Because I know when I met you,
Yes.
you were not yet the VP of merchandising. You were what, director of brand?
Director of brand partnerships. So
Right.
I started as a director of brand partnerships, and basically my entire role was get brands. Get brands in the box. That was it. Like literally, like if you looked at my job description, you could like take away all the other stuff, and it was like get brands in the box. That was like the number one. Obviously, when I started, which was February 2018, they had already built such an amazing base, and they had such great brand relationships already. And really, obviously, with my years of working as a buyer at HSN, I had worked with everybody: Benefit, Too Faced, Trish McAvoy, Smashbox, everyone, Pure, everybody that basically was in the industry, was essentially at TV retail. And if I hadn't necessarily bought them, like as if it didn't work out to be online, I had a connection to them. Because another thing that's really interesting about the beauty industry is people bounce around a lot.
Oh my God,
Just
that
like
I
everywhere.
started to notice.
Everywhere.
This one works with this company now. They're here now.
Yep.
They're there.
Yep, you bounce around a lot, which I think is actually really special because you get the opportunity to work with so many brands and you're not like stagnant. And I think that's what makes the beauty industry really, really, again, special. Because I was very lucky that I really only had to work for one brand one time. And I was very lucky that I loved the brand that I worked for, Origins, of course. But every other job I've had after that, I've been able to work with hundreds of brands. So it's, I've never really felt like, oh, I'm stagnant. Or I'm bored. I'm never bored. I've never been bored in any job that I've ever had, for sure. But so my main role at Boxy was to get brands in the box and to, just elevate overall and build a team that would also do the same and do better than me. And that, again, was my main goal there. And, I've, worked with Boxycharm and Joe, and we built such an incredible team there. And we really held hands and worked together. I was really one of the first people that had a lot of beauty background that worked there. So, it was really great to be able to bring that level of expertise to them, but then it was also amazing to learn everything that they did to build such a cult community, because you really can't replicate what they've done with their community. You know?
Absolutely not.
I've seen a lot of cult beauty fans. I've never seen a customer, and I used to tell the brands this all the time. I was like, listen, you can go with any box, with any retailer, Ulta, Sephora, anyone. I promise you, there is not a customer like the Boxycharm customer. She and he, amazing. Like, there is no better customer than that. Honestly, like you guys have done it all. You guys are really what makes the brand tick.
Golden star shout out to the Boxycharm Beauties community, because you guys know I love you. But
I love
that is
Boxycharm
something
Beauties.
that I found to be so helpful, because I actually found similar groups like that. It wasn't the first. It just happens to be the biggest exclusively only Boxycharm group.
Yeah.
Passing 50,000 people. I'm so happy. Anyway.
Wow. Oh my
it's huge.
God.
But I found it because the Artist Couture Diamond Glow Powder was in a box.
Oh my God.
And
I love that brand.
I have one of them here. I probably have 6 of them.
That's
This is
amazing.
the one. This is Summer Haze. This is the one we just got.
Yes, I love that
But
one.
there was a month where Illuminati and Conceited were the 2 options.
Yep.
And I needed both.
Oh my God.
So I
that's
found
amazing.
these groups to see if somebody was, reselling.
Yep.
And that's what I love so much about those communities, is that even though the boxes are great and the products are good, if you get a lipstick color you're not going to use, if you get the highlighter shade you're not really into, you can go on there and swap it with somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's what I was looking for. And that's
just
not really
think-
heard of.
No, it's so true. And I think also just the way that you all communicate with each other is just kind of epic. Like you just can't replicate it. I don't know.
And the
It's
fact
hard
that the
to
Boxy team actually
Oh my God,
is
they're amazing.
involved in it. Like, that is how I met Donna. She literally just DM'd me one day
It's
off
true.
of me posting one of my unboxing videos.
That's true.
And it turned into like 9 months of every time
9
a
months.
box time of us just being like, okay, so what are your actual thoughts?
Yeah.
And they're true to camera. Like what you guys see is true. But then like she'll be like, all right, but now why do you think we put that in the box?
Yeah.
And then I'll find the brand story, because it's not just we have these products, let's throw shit in a box and send it out. There's curation. There is thought that goes into, well, this goes here and this goes there.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Can we get a little bit on that?
Yes. I'll let the Boxycharm team speak to everything, but while I was there, the curation process, really comes down to, a a lot of testing, a lot of information, from the actual charmer community. And I will tell you, like, again, I don't work for the company anymore, so I'm not speaking on behalf of Boxycharm by any means whatsoever. But what I will tell you about Boxycharm is that they take everything that you say to heart in the most incredible and authentic way. They really love you. Like, I mean, I know that just seems like such a simple thing to just love your customer, but But
not everybody does.
They really care. Like, they really do. And it's so beautiful to see. And yeah, like I said, I don't work there anymore, but that was one of the most touching things for me, was working with a company that cared so much about their community. It just meant a lot to me. And, I think coming from being in store, I always wanted to work in the corporate setting and say that I didn't allow the customer to just become a number on a piece of paper. And that was my biggest fear, is like, don't go to corporate and don't let them become like, here's your customer, here's a piece of paper. And I love that you had to just like fan it.
The setting's right. If you don't fan it immediately, it doesn't dry right.
It was like the perfect moment to just like put a little fan action. I'm having like an emotional moment over here, and you're fanning yourself.
You don't tell her who her client is.
Don't you tell. Oh my God. Anyways, so, they really, I did not want any customer to become a number on a piece of paper. And I said that the day that somebody handed me a piece of paper and was like, here's your customer, like, that was like it. I was not going to work in corporate anymore.
That's awesome.
But
integrity is important.
Integrity is really important to me, and they do not take it lightly. So the curation process is very, very strenuous. There's a lot of information. I know that the curation process has evolved since even I've been gone. So again, that's probably better for them to speak about it. But I will tell you that a lot of the inspiration that came from the boxes, was, a lot of trend analysis, a lot of, some simple things, even just like, oh my gosh, Guy.
So beautiful.
Alamar, I love. And Gabby is amazing. How adorable is Gabby?
I love. These blushes are everything.
She did such a great job with this brand, first of all. And, her formula, she's very picky. She and I actually have very similar taste, because sometimes we would be sitting picking product together. She would be picking everything for her brand, but then, people would always ask my input, because I was the vice president, so everybody would want to kind of make sure that I was like okay with it. And I would always, it was so funny, because one of the members of my team would say to me, you always pick the same colors that Gabby does. Like, you and Gabby are always picking the same stuff. And ultimately she makes all the decisions for her brand, but they would be like, what are your favorites? Yeah, they'd be like, what are your favorites? And ultimately she and I had the same taste and everything. It was pretty funny. I really love that blush palette. I actually...
Which one?
Wait, is it the medium tan?
That's medium tan.
Yeah, this is mine. Medium tan. Which is funny, because people always think that I'm this, because I'm...
Enjoy how tan you feel, because look how pasty I look compared to you. Like,
oh my God. This is the best day. I'm never tanner than anybody.
My face is very red, so I match to my neck, and my neck is pale. So, like...
I'm really happy.
You have to go outside.
Can I just tell you, I had to go to Sephora to go buy a new one, and I'm officially sand.
That is...
I'm sand.
Congratulations. I'm still porcelain.
I'm officially sand. So I can say that I'm in the medium tan category. So I'm going to leave this here, because I'm actually going to use this in a little bit, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
I did bring my giant Ofra palette. This is, I think, kind of old, but I did bring my big mama.
I brought everything.
My big mama. She's one of my faves. I do love Ofra products a lot.
You have to get to that part to use the blush.
Right. Thank you. I'm moving on to concealer. I'm getting called out for being too slow and talking too much. It's like
I think you're talking perfectly fine.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. This is like really fun for me. I'm so glad that we finally got to do this. We've been trying to do this for like 8 months.
Oh, yes.
And I think it's hilarious that now that I'm not with Boxycharm anymore, now we finally have time to do it.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? Timing happens the way it's supposed to.
It does. And I think it's so great that we, spent so much time. But that is true. I mean, I reached out to you because I love the way that you talked about our boxes.
Thank you.
I mean, I love the way all of our charmers do, to be honest, but because I just truly believe that it's very special. But
I feel like my approach has always been just to try to be authentic in a non-preachy way.
100%.
I want to talk about why the product works or doesn't. I don't want to tell you this product is crap or this product's amazing, because all of us have different, perspective, personalities. So for me, like the Touch and Soul Primer, I have very oily skin, not the best product for me, but I love the No Pore Bloom.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think that the No Pore Bloom client is using both of those two products.
Yeah.
and I have one I like more. They both came in a box.
Well, and I think that's the great thing about the box is that like there might be a day where maybe you go out in the sun and you like do still need a primer and you do need a little bit extra hydration, and then you have that product
Absolutely.
to go to. You know, because it's like it may not be the best for you on a day-to-day basis. Like, listen, there are products that we put, you know, I put into market. Like, there's palettes that I've created in general, not even just for Boxycharm, but just in general, that are not my taste. They're not something that I would use. But they are, you know, products that, you know, do really well in the market, and they're not something that I would use. But then there's that day where I pull it out and I'm like, oh, I'm going to use that. And I'm glad that I have it.
Oh, of course. And that shift in perspective of that so many people like different things from me is what I love most. And the whole reason I started Boxycharm was I am a creature of habit. And if I don't constantly have new products showing up at my door, curated once a month, I'm not trying new things.
Right, because you stick to what you know.
Right, and that was pre-channel.
Right.
I started my channel because I did a live video in Boxycharm Beauties, and everyone was like, oh my God, can you please?
Yeah.
So I started to. It was not a vanity project. It wasn't, you know, this is going to be my next thing. It was people wanted it, so I did it, and eventually it turned into this machine that 250 plus videos later, like I am so happy with it. But it started off simply because there was a request and there was a desire for it. So for me, that pushed me to use new things. But before that, this was my combo. This
I think
is
that's
what
like
I
human
used.
nature. I mean, I think about even the amount of people that would come into Sephora, and I would find out that they've been using the same makeup routine since they were in high school.
And
there's
skin
nothing
changes.
And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you like, but there's so many great products out there that you could be missing out on, and that's why I love the box, because I think it's, again, human nature to kind of stick to what you know. And I think it's great to, you know, be in a box program or go into Sephora if you're not somebody who has time to go into Sephora. I mean, who has time to do that anymore? You know, like maybe you do, maybe you don't, but a lot of people don't.
That's
you know?
exactly, like, Discovery is the only...
Discovery.
That is it. That's why
That's why you did it.
And I got one Ipsy box once. And I liked a product, but there was not enough of it.
Right.
I went boxy because of the full-size products.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think the full size is key, but I think, you know, at the end of the day, one of the things that I always used to say is, like, anybody can be full size. Like, I remember before Ipsy launched their Glam Bag Plus, I was like, it's only a matter of time. Like, they're going to do it. It's only a matter of time. And so it's like, what makes you different? What makes you special? And I think that's what, you know, for me, whenever I talk to, you know, and whenever I was working at Boxycharm, it was the product, it was the exclusivity, it was the newness, it was the something different, the something special, something that you can't find anywhere, you find somewhere first, you know? And, you know, I think every company has its strengths and every company has, look at this brush, I can't get over it, sorry. I just
As you should.
I just, you know, can't get over it.
For me, that's highlighter. Every time, even
Okay,
if it's
me
something
too.
I've used
Same,
1,000
same.
times, I
You'll
have to
see me
like
do it with
stop and check
Yeah.
and look and work.
You'll see me do this with Artist Couture in a minute.
Our next project, because you just kind of hinted at the fact that you have made products for other brands besides Boxycharm.
I have.
I'm sure you're not allowed to talk about it, and I'm sure there's a million like NDAs and stuff that I am not going to get a lot out of you on that front.
Unlikely.
However,
Yes.
until the tequila spill, she already went over that hasn't
I'm like, is there a
started yet.
margarita on the way?
Where is it coming? So
Can be arranged.
It can be arranged.
because you do have a background in product creation, in
Yes.
addition to buying and curating products that other people have made.
Yes.
If you were to come out with a cosmetic brand, what would be the first product you would launch or you would want to formulate?
Okay, so something that a lot of people don't necessarily know about me is that I'm a huge complexion, like, fanatic. How do you like that, by the way?
I love it.
You
I
do?
had a bottle, I posted a picture of it at our wedding.
Uh-huh.
This bottle, well, not this one, this is many,
It's like
many
in
bottles
your,
later.
it's like in your image.
It's literally sitting between us at the wedding table.
That
when we're getting, because
is hilarious.
there were like a dozen
Morphe
pictures
bottle.
throughout just of me just touching up because I needed to hydrate and I needed to keep
Listen,
myself. I just love the
don't
mist.
hate.
The only
Yeah.
thing I don't love is that you can't fly with it because it is aerosol.
Oh, fair. Yes.
That's it. But other than that, like I've already used it like 7 times just to take down any
Yeah.
powder.
So I'm a big complexion person in general. I post a lot about skincare on my own like personal channel. I do have a heavy background in makeup and makeup product creation. The first product that I would definitely create would be, I don't want to give everything away, but if I were to create a brand.
Product category.
You
can keep it vague.
I'll keep it vague. I'm going to say an elixir.
Okay. I like
a beauty
that.
elixir would be the first product. Reason for that is I want to create product that obviously drives loyalty. I want to create a product that people can't live without. And I think that, elixirs, and I'm using that generally because it wouldn't necessarily be just like a normal elixir, but it would be pretty amazing. And something that you want that you can wear with or without makeup. You can use it with your makeup. You can use it without your makeup.
Skincare is important, people.
It's like a skincare, but it definitely has a makeup element to it. That's what I would create.
Very nice.
In my own world. And then definitely foundation. I'm huge.
Complexion is like...
I'm a big complexion person, and also a highlighter. Those would be it would be all about complexion. I'm just not even gonna lie. Be all complexion based.
I'm right there with... Am I lashing? Are we lashing?
You should definitely lash. I'm not going to lash because I have a dinner meeting later and I don't need to be like full glam, and I've been spending a lot of time putting this on, by the way. I think I just really like this brush. I need to stop. Okay.
And you're still living in the fact that your foundation shade is sand.
I'm living for the fact that my foundation is sand. And this was my first time actually buying this foundation. I'm normally an Hourglass and Becca person from like morning until night. Those are my major complexion brands, but
Really?
Huge. Big Becca person. Love me some Becca. I actually used to work with the CEO's wife, is like the head of TV retail for Kora's. And so I used to work with her back in the day when I was at HSN, and her husband, they were just like the cutest couple ever, Bob DeBaker, who's now the CEO of Kora's as well. Well, not as well as Becca, but he used to be the CEO of Becca. And just an incredible executive. And their products are just really incredible.
I feel like my favorite foundation of all time got discontinued, and I'm still pissed about it.
Which one?
The Dior Forever.
Oh my God, that was such a great foundation.
So I do love the Air Flash.
Yeah.
So whenever I am doing something like this, or I'm getting ready on the go, or I'm traveling,
Yeah.
I always bring this because, like, when
Do you have a powder brush? I just realized I forgot a powder brush.
I always.
I just completely forgot one. Thank you, darling.
Do you need smaller, or are you full face powdering?
I'm gonna do a little full face action.
Because
I actually have not done a full face with this yet, so let's see how this goes. Because I hate. By the way, another fun fact about me is that I hate powder.
I love powder.
I know everybody loves powder. I hate powder. Unpopular opinion, but I do hate it. But this one I'm liking. This is the Fenty one, which I really do. The banana one, which I really like.
I played around with the Fenty powder, but I haven't committed to. I need to use. I can't multitask, especially when it comes to lashes, because then they're gonna be wonky.
Okay, do your thing.
And you have a meeting later. I have a drive home and a husband who will make fun of me.
For taking forever?
No, for a wonky lash.
Oh, for a wonky lash, okay.
Taking forever, I can get around.
I'm like,
a
is
wonky
that...
lash is unforgivable.
I know, he's been so good. He's been literally like, hey, get back on track. What are you guys doing here?
Yep. He also set up the entire mobile studio.
He did everything. You're amazing.
I'm kind of fantastic. No,
He's like, I'm just so amazing.
And that's enough, Brandon.
You're banned for the rest of the...
Done!
No!
Goodbye!
Don't you know who the stars are?
Probably, I'm gonna say... at least 3 to 4 times a week, I will get a comment like, when's Brandon coming back on your channel?
That's hilarious.
Partially because they like that he makes fun of me. Partially because every time he's in a video, it's pretty much some sort of, Brandon has come up with a way to sabotage my makeup routine.
Yeah.
Let's challenge Brett.
Yeah. Okay, here's gonna be the funny face time.
Oh my God, I love
when you
that.
put on mascara, why do we make such crazy faces? I'm so grateful for the fact that I'm not looking that pasty right now.
You're sitting next to me. You will never look pasty.
I had no idea that you were so fair. It
But I'm not.
It honestly doesn't look like that on camera.
But I'm not. Shade 202. I'm in the 200s. I'm Fenty 200. I'm considered the lightest shade on the medium spectrum.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am normally. I'm normally light medium, or I'm always bisque. That's always my color, out there in the world. It's I'm a bisque or a warm beige, because I'm actually Hungarian and British. So I have the Hungarian side of me. I have like a lot of yellow in my skin naturally. A lot of warmth.
Pink bitch.
Pink bitch.
I'm a pink bitch. You guys didn't see because we were pretty much off camera for most of that because mascara and lashes were not amusing to watch. But she mentioned the word influencer, so Donna has opened up Pandora's box. Couple questions. First, should we go full drama first? No, we're going to go light first. First question is going to be, how has social media changed beauty trends, especially since you were buying,
Oh, yeah. So I was buying pre-social media and post-social media, and the biggest change is the immediacy. Is that a word?
It isn't. It is now.
It is
He
a
makes
word?
fun of me for making up words. Smoothening is a word I use all the time.
Immediacy.
It's a real word.
It's a real word?
Yes.
Oh my god! I'm just really smart and I didn't know it.
I thought we had a fun new word.
I thought we did too, but I'm actually really happy that I'm smart, I think.
I can relate to that.
It was like, oh, it was a moment where I actually was smart for a moment, because I tend to do these things where I make up words and they sound really smart, but then everybody else knows that they don't exist, and they're kind of like, oh, you're not that smart.
Hold on. I have like a list of words that Brandon makes fun of me for using. Smoothening. Gradiate, which is a word. I've heard people use it.
Gradiate or gradient?
Gradiate. When you blend the shadow so that it gradiates.
Right, it gradiates. Like even my hair kind of gradiates.
Yes, it does. When you get that.
Yes, and they talked. It's kind of like ombre.
Gradiate, exactly. And he was like, "No, that's not a word. You're an idiot." And I'm like, "Wow, thank you, Brandon."
Okay, so social media. That's what we were talking about. So, social media changed the game for the instant gratification for sure. I think the feedback was like the most important piece of how it changed the game. I think it did also force a level of accountability that a lot of companies in general didn't have. The inclusion to me is the best thing that came from social media, is forcing inclusion. Because I remember, and I won't share the name of the company, but I remember working for a company that discontinued deep foundations. And
all deep foundations?
like pretty much anything past, I would say, this is a bronzer, so obviously this is not accurate, but like anything past here. So like,
for someone that's a pressed foundation.
for someone that's a pressed foundation, so like anyone past here, there was no foundation for you. And I asked the education manager at the time, I said, why would we do this? Like, why would we discontinue deep foundations? Like, even just from a pure business perspective, you're leaving money on the table, taking out all of the social issues that come with that. And she said, oh, people who have deeper skin don't wear foundation. That was the answer that I got.
Oh, okay.
I was like...
Naima Tang has a question.
I was like, I have so many questions and not enough answers, and that's not an acceptable answer for me. Needless to say, I did not work with that company for much longer after that.
I wouldn't either.
I was like, bye.
Someone's calling. I gotta
go. I've just never even heard an excuse like that in my life, so I was like, no, that's just not it. So I would say inclusion's the best thing that came.
Okay. And
for
the
sure.
worst?
I think there's a lot of false information out there that people claim to be experts, and they oh, how pretty. That was so pretty.
That was.
We were about to have a really good moment, but it was worth it though.
It was.
We need to talk about it for a second.
It
Artist couture.
All right.
Mac
Continue your
Daddy.
moment. Worst thing.
Worst thing is that there's a lot of false
I need to
information.
stop cutting you off, girl.
I was like, who's being interviewed here? You or me? We're just having a good time. It's okay. I like it. I think the worst thing is just that there's a lot of false information, and I will say one of the negative things about the community in general is that someone says that they're an expert in something, and then that becomes truth, and
Right.
It's not a lot of the times. Like, I've watched countless videos about companies that I've worked for, about companies I haven't worked for, about companies I've worked with that I know the actual story behind the drama, and I sit there and I'm like, and people are like, I knew this was the case. Like, I read the comments and they're like, oh, like, I've seen the wildest things, like people even like speculating about, companies like financial status, people speculating about, the people who are choosing the product, the people, and again, this has nothing to do even with the companies that I'm working for. These are just companies that I've worked with. And just, you know, the way something is manufactured, how it's manufactured, and I'm like, you're actually saying incorrect information, and there's like hundreds of thousands of views, and there's tons and tons and tons of comments of people being like, I knew it, thanks for sharing the truth, and I knew it, and I'm like, what do you mean thanks for sharing the truth? This isn't even real. So it scares me, because that's the negative thing, is that people spread false truths, and if you don't work in the industry, at times it can be easy, and I think that the accountability piece is important.
Right.
So I love the fact that the consumer holds us accountable as an industry, because we have to. And I think ultimately, and I say we, not that I've ever made any of these types of decisions, but I say we because I am part of the industry. We have to do better always, and we have to, you know, continuously hold ourselves accountable, and we are not perfect, and we don't always get it right. And sometimes you do need a bit of a wake-up call, because sometimes you're in a bubble, and you as the expert, or you as the executive sitting in the room, it is easy to lose sight. You know, I feel very blessed because I did work in store for so long, and because I've always worked with companies where, and as a buyer, like, we've been very consumer focused. So, you know, I haven't been in that position where I've really had the opportunity even to lose sight, because it's so in your face all the time. But I do know that, you know, there's a lot of false truth out there. So just, that's probably the worst thing I think that comes from it. So I just hope that everybody takes everything with a grain of salt.
Which brings another question or topic, as you're doing lips, because naturally that's when you need to talk. With cancel culture, and first it was Jeffree Star, then it was Laura Lee, then they canceled James Charles, then now Jack, like, what is your view on the hostility and the negativity and the cancel culture in the online beauty market? Because I feel like right now everybody wants, like, you guys saw the thumbnail, you guys see the title, like, everybody wants tea.
Everybody wants tea.
Everybody wants tea.
It makes me sad because, you know, I got into this industry because I love beauty and because I love people. And I know you come to a point where, you know, listen, if you gain 20 pounds, if you lose 20 pounds, if you're not feeling good that day, you know, you can't always have an instant fix.
We're not always on.
But I will tell you, when I put on, a lot of people know me for my red lipstick, because I always wear red lipstick, but I'm not going to today because I've got purple on. But when I put on this red lipstick, I feel like my whole world is better. I could have just gone through the worst breakup. You know, some of you may have seen when I worked for Boxycharm, I did a gold digger video.
Which was inspiring, to say the least.
Thank you. And, you know, I was many, many times at my worst time. You know, I talked about this before, but, you know, I was a teen mom, like fresh out of high school, found out I was pregnant. You know, I got into a marriage, and I ended up, you know, in an abusive relationship that I got myself out of. You know, and the beauty industry is partially what got me through it, because my job and my son were what pushed me forward, you know, to get through those times, and, you know, going through many, you know, traumatic relationships, whether it's, you know, personal, professional, you know, phases of your career growing up, you know, in an industry, that I was held to a very high expectation from myself and also by the people that I was working for, because I was in important roles. It's a lot of pressure, but, you know, I stayed because I love this industry so much, because it does make me feel better to put on my red lipstick, and it does make me feel connected. Like the fact that, you know, we're from two different worlds. Like I would never have met you any other way. How would I have met you? Like, how would I would have never met you. And, you know, the fact that, you know, yes, I was an executive at Boxycharm, and you were this amazing micro-influencer who's done an amazing job.
Oh my God, thanks.
Growing this credible platform. We would have never connected any other way. And here we are sitting together, and how much fun have we had talking about our favorite product, obviously industry stuff as well, but like
playing.
Enjoying. It's a playground. It's fun, and some of the best times that I have and the best memories that I have are the people that I worked with when I was at Sephora, and they would come in and they came in and they were exhausted, like they just gone through a horrible breakup, or you know, this one woman, I'll never forget her. She was, you know, she was going through chemotherapy, and, you know, she came in and she just needed to feel better about herself, and she, you know, was losing her hair, and there were so many traumatic things happening, and the only thing that we could do was just sit and play with makeup, and that made her feel like she wasn't even sick. You know, she was herself again. And, you know, that is the power of beauty. And so it makes me really sad when I see the community in the way, and I go back to the false truths, because we watched, you know, and I'm not saying that one side was true or one side wasn't true, because I don't know, I wasn't in that situation, but, you know, you had one person speaking her truth, right? And then you have one person speaking his truth, and they're both speaking their truths. Then you have another person that's speaking his truth, and none of these stories really match. Mm-hmm. They're all speaking the truths, and
we're eating it up.
We're eating it up. This person's speaking their truth, and, you know, this following declines. You know, it's like truth, decline, and then he comes out with his truth, and then hers, you know, levels out, and then his goes back up, and it's like within, you know, a few days, the following went down and went back up. I mean, it's like nothing changed, and, you know, it was just like a waste of everybody's time to go through all of this. And I think that it's important to just know that, you know, we came here for the reason that, you know, most influencers that you meet are really, really beautiful individuals. Like, they're just like you and I. You know, a lot of them went through crazy stuff. Like, a lot of, you know, you'll see a lot of influencers talk about the fact that they had anxiety, or they weren't like popular, or they didn't have a lot of friends, and that's why they became YouTubers. And it's true, you know, like, so they created this amazing community, and we've been a part of it, and then they've, you know, made a brand for themselves in a way they probably would have never been able to, you know, any other way, or maybe they would in a different way. Mm-hmm. But they're here to connect. And I think that's the thing that we've forgotten, is that we're here to connect. We're not here to cancel. We're here to connect. And, you know, beauty connects you and I. It connects me to the consumer. It connects, you know, me to the product. You know,
me to all of them,
you to all of them, you know, and hopefully you guys to us. But the end game is that we're here to connect. And I think, you know, that's just true about life, you know. And I think the two things that I've really come to terms with lately, since, you know, I've had a lot of life changes, is that, you know, I want to connect with people. And that's why I came into this industry to begin with. And that's why I want to continue in this industry, probably for the rest of my life, not going to lie. And connection is key. But also that, you know, we need to lift each other up, and we need to set the path and stand on our own, and stand in your truth. And standing in your truth is, you have to be true to yourself, and you have to be honest with yourself when you're in the moment of, like, canceling, saying something negative, being shady, you know. And, like, you know, I know the tagline of this was like spilling the tea, but, like, we were here to have fun, and that's what we did. You know, we didn't speak negatively, and we were positive, and we had a great time. And you can have fun, and you can be honest. I think being honest and authentic is key. But
that's something that I find to be a really big differentiation, is that there is a way to talk about a product that didn't work out for you, or an experience you might have had with somebody that you might not have had that perfect connection with. Not everybody's going to mesh. Not everything's going to hit. I'm literally, like, looking at your products trying to be like, I see that and I didn't like it, but I genuinely like. Actually, that's not true. The Benefit They're Real Mascara, I do not like it at all.
My favorite.
But I'm obsessed with Roller Lash. And Benefit mascaras are the best mascaras in the world.
True.
I'm obsessed.
True.
And that's something, like, I have friends of mine that I've debated with. You're either Team Roller Lash or Team They're Real. And there is no in between. Nope. Because you either want lift and curl or volume and drama. And I mean, I like drama, but the Roller Lash is what I need.
Yep.
I'm not shitting on the brand, because clearly
you have to be honest.
That is not the epitome of everything that there is. But
there was so much product I put out to market that I didn't like for myself. Awesome. I think we're done. Are you tied up? I feel like, do I need anything else?
I mean, you look great.
Do I look okay? I mean,
you need to glow a little.
Oh, I need highlight. You're right. I forgot highlight. How could I forget my baby Artist Couture?
What shade is that one?
This one is Conceited. Really upset about the fact that I did not get Purple Dream. I just have to say that for a moment.
I got 3 boxes that month, and I got 3 Summer Hazes.
I did not get Purple Dream, and I'm really upset about that, because I really wanted Purple Dream. See, even the executive of Boxycharm doesn't always get what she wants.
So what you do is you go into Boxycharm Beauties, and you find it.
I'm like, send me a Purple Dream, people. That's like all I ever wanted. Oh my gosh, Artist Couture, I love you.
There she is.
There she is. I don't even, look at, this is how much I've used this brush. It's like just gone. Like, I don't even know what brand this is.
I can relate to that.
Like, I have no clue. what brand this is.
Oh, that is glowy.
That is Glow City. Yes, thank you, Brandon. I always love to go down the bridge of the nose. It's my favorite part.
I can't.
Why?
My nose gets so shiny
And it's just like
that
way too
it
much.
becomes grease. Like
That's my favorite
just
part.
in the,
Like,
we've been
nothing
sitting here
more
filming.
transformative than this moment right here.
We've been filming for like 2 hours,
Like,
and
look.
I've powdered my nose twice.
Like, look, super transformative moment.
I'm jealous of people with dry skin.
I love.
For now, in 10 years,
No,
I
you're
won't
gonna.
be.
No, I'm so upset. I'm like, I literally looked at this woman the other day who had the most gorgeous oily skin, and I was like, can you just like give me like half of what you have going on there? Yeah, just literally just take half of that off and just put it all over me.
We've literally been sitting here applying. It's been almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I have been touching up as
Like,
I do
as you've
other
been going?
things. This is like a norm for me. Every time, like, I have to have something to.
You've also kept your station. Like, how did you do this? Like, I wish you guys could see what's going on here right
They
now.
can. We're gonna insert.
Oh, we're gonna insert. Okay, so like his area is like he kept it organized and perfect, and my area is like a disaster zone. Like this is my area, and look at Brett's. He's like perfect. Mine's like a disaster.
My issue is, and we actually discussed this earlier. She's very free spirited, which is fabulous. As she zhuzhes.
I
and giving
zhuzh
herself
the
a
hair.
little bit.
Listen, I gotta get it up there.
But she's so free spirited. I am so meticulous, like obsessive compulsive. I'm annoyed with this right now
Do you
because
know-
it's not where it belongs. It's just in a compartment.
Do you know that my team used to come into my office and sneak clean my office?
That's
This is a true
awesome.
story. At both HSN and at Boxycharm, I would come back from a trip and my team will have gone in because they were just like, they couldn't handle walking into my office and seeing like the chaos. And it's not like it was like dirty. It was just
No,
like,
this isn't even that bad.
it's just
I've
like,
seen
no.
worse.
Like my office, I'm sure maybe they'll comment on here or something. Like, it was a situation. Like piles of product everywhere, like lab samples.
That sounds like a dream.
I mean, it was a dream, but also when I left, packing up my office, disaster zone. Like when I left HSN, I had 4 carts full of product that I was like carting out of the office from like brand gifts and like people, you know, having product everywhere, but
Things.
it was insane. But yeah, my team would come in and sneak clean my office.
I'm not going to show them this. I'm going to show you this.
Okay, show me.
And this is going to be their little teaser.
This is a secret.
Ignoring like my full-time job and everything I do. This is my filming schedule. This is how I stay meticulous.
This is insane.
This is what I'm filming, when it's getting posted, the status of what I'm working on, publication.
You're hired.
dates.
Can I hire you?
Sold. Done.
Done?
But
Hired.
literally, like my
What would you guys
videos
do if Brett started
through-
working for me?
I'm there.
He's done.
I'm through the middle of June or the middle of July with all of the videos I have coming up and planned.
That is.
See that one right there?
That's
Beauty
true.
exec, get ready with me.
Look at that! I love it. I made it to the calendar. I feel special. I made the calendar.
Meticulous.
No, that's intense. I mean, that's intense. I'm jealous.
And that's just kind of how things work.
Same with HSN. My best friends actually worked for me at Origins. Did I mention that earlier?
You
I
did.
can't remember.
Maybe.
Maybe.
If it got edited out then, we'll put it
We'll
in
put it
now.
back in now. What else?
We're going to know about Donna's friends.
All of my
from
friends.
Origins.
And you. You're my friend now too.
Absolutely.
We've been friends, like secret friends for like 9 months.
Seriously.
Like secret friends.
We talk a lot.
We talk a lot, like a lot more than like I talk to a lot of people.
And it's funny because 90% of the time it is between like 10 and 2 in the morning.
Yes.
And Brandon's always like, can you just go to bed? And I'm like, no.
I'm talking to Donna, okay?
I'm busy right now. You're going to have to like, give me a minute.
It is the funniest thing. Like I do talk to you super late at night. Super late at night. Like it's always like 11 p.m.
Oh yeah.
It's always like 11 p.m. We're always talking about product.
We're going to go wrap up, clean up, and we'll be back to close out.
All right.
And this is the finished look.
I feel like we maybe should have done like a contest and like a vote, but we should have done the same look. Like we should have done like, that's the next video. We're going
Next
to do
one?
another one because I had so much fun.
This was enjoyable.
This
I'm
is
so
enjoyable.
happy
Look
you're
how
here.
formal.
Right?
This is so
This was
enjoyable.
so
This was really
wonderful.
enjoyable.
It was wonderful. We had an
And
amazing
so-
time.
I
was
enjoyed our
great.
moments together.
Me too.
That was
I think for me the best part is that every time you get deep, I'm like, let's just
yeah.
do something.
I'm like
else.
having like a deep moment, but now even like you're being formal, and I'm just like, whatevs.
It's perfect. The free spirit with the Obsessive compulsive.
Obsessive compulsive.
It's a good
I've
balance.
learned a lot about you today.
Balance is important.
Balance. I'm a Libra, so balance, like literally my entire sign is the scale.
And I'm a Leo, which just means I just want you to watch me and enjoy me. And tell
I mean,
me I'm
Libras are
pretty.
kind of like that too. My love language is words of affirmation. Also
Okay.
physical touch, which is why I've touched you like 5,000 times.
Girl, you could touch whenever you want.
Oh!
My husband's right there. He'll tell you if you go too far.
And I'm already talking to you late at night too, and now I'm all up on you.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. If you guys have any questions for Donna, leave them down below. I will harass her until she gets on there to answer them.
I will
And
answer your questions.
We
I will.
both be chilling in the comment section.
Be
so
fun.
let me know if you guys want to see Donna again, because I know you do. Thank you guys. I'll see you next time, all right?
Bye.
Bye.